father's still loose, you know.
You're saying somebody else killed Tina. Who?
I don't know who he is. But he's burned. And he wears a weird hat. And a red and green sweater, really dirty. And he uses these knives, like giant fingernails.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
This is Cheapseat Reviews.
He loved booby traps for some reason.
Oh, it's fine, you hysterical woman.
I think
I know where wet dreams come from. No, Carol Baskin.
Hello, and thank you for listening to Cheapseat Reviews, the podcast that explores the Hollywood film industry for the greater good.
The greater good.
I'm so used to Sam, trying to find some way to tie it into the movie that you're calm, docile, the greater good. It kind of throws me for a loop.
I really considered it, but I didn't want to scare my children.
That's fair.
Should be in their beds.
Should be, right?
Should be.
That's fair. Okay, so yeah, this is episode 402. Once again, no Sam tonight. He is still on vacation, and we wish him the best of luck with that. This is episode 402, and tonight we're talking about A Nightmare on Elm Street, the 1984 classic A Nightmare. I always forget the word A or the letter A, but it is A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Most people do.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of colloquially. I'm trying to see.
That no, don't change it.
I'm not.
Yeah, you're right on.
Don't fix it.
I'm not going to try to fix it. But you know what I'm saying? Like, we just say Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
I am Shawn Allred, and joining me tonight is Andrew Blood Volcano Jimison.
You know it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, everyone. And Shawn.
Yeah.
Sam's not here, and I missed this last week, so I'm going to kill you in this week's episode.
Okay.
For Sam, this is in his honor. I'm just not going to wake you up at all. I'm going to fall asleep, just like Johnny Depp, and I'm not going to wake you up at all. It's pretty easy.
Okay,
this time.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Just let me go.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I'm going to sleep through the alarm clock. Hit snooze a couple times, maybe.
Yeah. That seems like the most lazy way to kill a person
It's
ever.
very lazy.
Yeah.
Just doing nothing.
Yeah. But that's on brand, I think, with us. That was a mystery voice. Who is that voice? I don't know. Well, I will tell you who that is. She is making her Cheapseat Reviews debut. It is Lindsay. She home aloned the house. Washburn.
That's a good one. I like that analogy.
Yeah.
But I'm very, very excited to be here, and I'm very excited to talk about this movie.
So, I'm super stoked to have you on here as well. You have an awesome YouTube show that you do. It's really fantastic. Everybody should go subscribe to her YouTube channel right this second. Like, just stop listening to the show and go subscribe to her YouTube channel. It's awesome. So yeah, A Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984's. I don't know why I repeated that. A Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm so like jazzed. I think I had more caffeine today than I normally do. So like usually like one sweet tea or like one Coke is like usually my max for a day. I don't drink coffee. Like that's usually it. So at dinner we do what?
You had 7?
I had 4.5 or so, 4 or 5. I was very thirsty, so I have a lot of caffeine happening in me right now. So I apologize if I talk. Maybe you'll have to put this episode on like that half speed, and I'll sound normal. Which, by the way, neither one of you, have you guys ever listened to a podcast at like faster than normal speed?
It's funny that you say that because literally yesterday I was riding in the vehicle with my kids, and we were going to, I think we were going to go get lunch or something. And the podcast is if I'm listening on my phone and I jump in and it's connected to Bluetooth, sometimes it'll just start playing. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And for some reason I had hit the button that it was at 50% speed. And it was the funniest thing because we sounded completely trashed.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I do like hearing that. Maybe I should find a little clip of us and do that, and just to play it on the show. It is pretty funny. There was a couple times where I have listened to a show at like 1.25 speed or whatever. Not gonna say why. I just did. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Andrew, what is this movie, 1984's A Nightmare on Elm Street?
Teenager Nancy Thompson must uncover the dark truth concealed by her parents after she and her friends become targets of the spirit of a serial killer with a bladed glove in her dreams, in which, if they die, it kills them in real life.
You know, honestly, that's like one of the best IMDb synopses we've ever had.
Yeah, it's a little wordy, and I'm not sure about the grammar, but I agree.
It covers everything.
It kind of does.
Without giving too much away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good for them. I do appreciate that. So I guess I've mentioned this multiple times on Twitter. This was my first viewing, and I think it was the same for you, Andrew, right?
Yeah. So
wow.
as I was watching this, I wondered to myself, first of all, why have I not seen this until now? And second of all, there's a lot, and maybe because I'm just a weenie and I haven't watched a lot of horror films, but there's a lot of, 80s horror films that I have not seen, like Pet Sematary, Leprechaun. Like there's a lot of cult classic movies, I guess they are, but a lot of movies. I haven't seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I haven't seen, what's the other?
Halloween.
Yeah, Halloween. I haven't seen the original Halloween. I've seen
Friday the 13th.
Haven't seen Friday the 13th. So there's a lot of these classic horror films that I haven't seen.
So
they're pretty good.
Every movie that you just listed, except for Halloween, I have also not seen.
Well, guess what we're doing this October, Shawn?
Yeah, we're going to be doing a bunch of those. I kind of feel like October and November is just going to be 80s horror months.
You got to have Return of the Living Dead in there as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we did a last Halloween. We actually did a 2-parter with another podcast where we did the new Halloween and then Halloween Kills. And I think we also did the original Halloween in there as well. Like it was right? I can't remember. We have done the original Halloween.
Yeah, you and Sam did. I missed that episode.
Oh, okay.
I was gone or something. I can't remember what happened.
So I have seen Halloween. I've seen that one a few times, the original Halloween. And then the new one, the remake, which I actually liked a lot. Halloween Kills, I really could stand to never see again. I didn't like it at all.
Evil dies tonight.
Yeah, that movie kind of annoyed me. Anyway, so yeah, we've not seen this. So Lindsay, we're here. You are going to have to be our resident expert on this film, I think.
I'll try to do my best.
Because I think you said you have like several copies of this movie, right?
Yeah, I have the whole series on VHS. I've got 2 copies of the original because one was a media release and one's just a later New Line release. That's a thing with VHS, is the different releases and things. People really get into that stuff. I don't so much, but it is interesting. But yeah, I grew up watching Freddy. I watched all the classics as well, but I would go rent the entire series and take them home and just stay in my room for a weekend and watch them over and over and over and over again. So I was very excited to talk about this movie, and especially with 2 people who were experiencing it for the first time. Because I think there are elements in it that hit different when you're watching it as a teenager than watching it for the first time as an adult. So I'm interested to hear your guys' thoughts.
Yeah. So, yeah, definitely. It's going to hit a lot different because I've seen several horror movies since then, more than several, but I've seen horror films, since 1984, obviously. And so like when I'm watching a movie like this, because this, an older film, I have to try to put my brain into 1984 me, right? Of course, obviously in 1984, I was 2. So, there's I was
still a sperm and an egg.
Right. So, but like what would it have been like watching this then, you know? And I try to, like, if I'm going to do horror film, I have the, you know, lights off. I have a little dark, you know, kind of thing going on. I had my drink and some candy, and I was trying to experience it like I would have then. And I'm watching this movie and I am laughing at a lot of parts. I mean, I'm laughing out loud, and I'm sitting here thinking, would I have been laughing in 84, or would I have actually been genuinely scared? Because I always kind of put this movie in with the same ilk as Friday the 13th and Halloween. Halloween, the first time I watched it, which was in college, actually scared me. I mean, it gave me bad dreams. It's very unnerving, but nothing in this movie scared me. I mean, nothing. There was one jump scare that got me. Otherwise, I was laughing because this movie is campy and kind of dumb.
Oh, wait till you see the sequels, man.
Oh, I can't wait.
The camp factor is exponential with each sequel, and I love it for that.
Nice. Oh, I'm looking forward to it because, yeah, this movie is just camp and tropes and.
Well, this originated many of those tropes.
Oh yeah, I would say so.
Mm-hmm. Because I mean, I'm sorry to cut in on you.
No, go ahead.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but when this came out, Friday the 13th had come out, Halloween had come out, Texas Chainsaw Massacre had come out, so we had horror icons already. But none of them were like Freddy, and Freddy was like no other because he spoke, he had clear motives, and they weren't. Because if you think about Jason, there's a sympathetic aspect to him and to that story. He was a little kid that drowned because teenagers were busy having sex instead of watching the children that they were in charge of. But with Freddy, he, from the get-go, was an evil, evil being. He was a child murderer, and the town took it upon themselves to, you know, take him out. And this is him exacting even more revenge upon them. So he sticks out in that aspect as well. But again, he's one of the few that spoke and had this outrageous personality and liked to toy with his victims before he killed them.
Is there, I'm asking because you probably know, I could look it up, but is there a prequel that's been done to this series?
Not really. They did Freddy versus Jason, which tells some of that story. They show some of the stuff, you know, when the parents came to kill him. And they show a few things in the later movies, some too successfully and some not so successfully. But there's never been a prequel done. They did do a remake in, I think, 2010, which wasn't well received, especially by Nightmare on Elm Street fans. It was okay, but they amped up certain aspects of it, and that had a little more of the backstory to it. But this one really just kind of throws you into it.
Right.
And you discover, as Nancy discovers, who this guy is.
Right.
Which I think is the best kind of way to do it. Definitely. I like that we get very little bit at the beginning of the montage of him kind of making his glove and things like that. And so like when I saw that, I thought, oh, this is a real dude, right? Like that, because I never knew that. I knew nothing about this other than you sleep, you die. Like that's seriously, like that's it. And so there was so much of this movie that I was amazed at how, this is a 38-year-old movie, how much of it I had not been spoiled of.
Yeah.
Because I guess it's just because it's not talked about, like, you know, spoiler free kind of whatever. I guess there's just an expectation that everybody's seen it. But there was so much of this that I just didn't know about. And you're right. You know, Freddy does talk, and you do learn a little bit more about him. Because, I mean, that was one thing we always asked is like, why is Michael Myers killing people? Like, we watched, again, the original Halloween and then the two remakes, and we're like, we still don't really know why he wants to kill Jamie Lee Curtis.
Maybe they'll answer that in the next one. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. Like, we still don't really know why. And then, but like, in this one, this is just a revenge tale for him. And the only other thing that I didn't know was I thought that, so I always thought that when you go to sleep, he kills you in the dream, you just die in the real world. I did not realize that he can affect the real world through you.
Mm-hmm.
And so that scene, I took some pictures of me watching the show last night when I was, I don't usually do that, but there's the scene where, and it was really, really well done when the boyfriend is, we're going to get to 5-word reviews here in just a second, guys, but the boyfriend, after the first couple have sex, and the camera is on a gimbal, right? So the room is rotating and the boyfriend is, you know, in the shot, not moving. And she's climbing the wall and doing all this stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is really clever stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is, I mean, for 84, like that's some really cool stuff. So I really enjoyed the film part of the movie, like the actual movie making magic of this movie, way more than the scary stuff, right? So I don't know, and maybe we'll get into why. I don't know. We'll get into that later. So let's do some 5-word reviews. Andrew, why don't you go first, please?
All right, I've got 2. Inception meets great horror film.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
The second one is Home Alone, the horror edition.
That's good.
Nice.
Yeah, no, this, you know, as I've said, it's the first time viewing it, and this movie just works for me. I don't know what it is about it. I just really, really liked it. The only thing there are 2 things that bothered me. One, the whole scene where Tina sees him in the alleyway and his arms kind of like accordion out to the edges of the alley. I thought that was kind of cheesy.
Yeah.
And then I'm not too fond of the ending, to be honest. Like,
neither's Wes Craven.
Well, I can see why. I can see why. Like that teaser, like the whole purpose of her defeating him is he's gone.
Yeah.
But yet he's back all of a sudden, you know. And so I don't know if it were explained that even that part was a dream and that maybe she never really woke up, then I could buy it that way. But, you know, like Shawn said, this cinematography I thought was really, really well done. Now, some of the practical effects are definitely from the 80s, where Tina gets slashed in that opening scene, and it's like, I don't know how they achieved it, but it's clearly like clay or something that they run the knives through or the razors through and split it open. But, you know, some of that's a little cheesy as well. But the movie itself, though, it works for me. And I didn't find myself being necessarily scared or frightened, but uneasy at times, just thinking about how, if this were real, if you could be hurt in a dream, which I read something that it's based on, where people actually die in their dreams or in a nightmare, and they die in real life. But, you know, that part of it kind of creeped me out a little bit. Not gonna lie. I enjoyed it.
Hold on. How would you know? Like, if you died in a nightmare, how would you know? You can't ask them because if they die in real life.
I'm just telling you what I read.
I know. Like, I understand that they probably had like probes and stuff on there. I don't know. Like, because I've heard that too. Like that's like in one of those old wives' tales. Like, if you fall and die in your dream, then you die. But like, how could you possibly know that? Because if you die in your sleep, it's not like you can ask. So, did you have a nightmare? You know?
It's just one of those things that has been passed down through human existence, where they couldn't explain why someone didn't wake up, and they're like, well, they must have died in their dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So I teased it. I'm going to say it. So dreams for me are fun because usually, not all the time, but usually I can lucid dream. So, like in the movie, once she goes to sleep and realizes she's in a dream, she knows that she can bring Freddy out. So, like for me, once I just accept that this is a dream, I can control the outcome. I turn into a genie or whatever, right? So like, and I'll admit, I usually have hero dreams. Usually I'm the hero and I have to overcome something, right? There's bad guys doing something or I'm being chased by whatever. I mean, I've literally had dreams where like people are chasing me and I'm running. And like in this movie does some really cool dream things too. Like she's trying to run upstairs, but like the stairs are all like marshmallow
turned
goo.
to oatmeal.
Yeah, right. Like I've experienced that in a dream. Like I'm watching that, relating to it, going, "Oh my God, I've done that. I've done it where I'm trying to run and I can't. Like my feet are stuck to the ground." But in my dream, I can just wake myself up, jump back into that dream. Only this time, I'm behind the people chasing me, and I'm now armed.
Nice.
You know, like things like that, and that's a lot of fun. And also, it depends on how silly my brain is in the moment, because like there have been. Well, I'll say this real quick. I say, yeah, just
you will love Nightmare on Elm Street 3. Then,
yeah,
you will love it.
Okay, nice. little tease for me there. Just like
that's a lot of people's favorite, but after that, what you just told me, you will definitely dig it.
Because there was a time where we were watching Avatar: The Last Airbender in my house, you know, nightly. So that I had lots of dreams where I was like a waterbender.
Yeah.
You know, but like in modern day things. And so
that's cool.
Like I would be at work, at my place of work, and then ninjas would show up. Well, there's not like a pool of water, but there's a water fountain over there. So I could use the water from the water fountain to create my weaponry. I know it sounds like I'm making this up. I swear, these are my dreams.
No, that's cool.
They're a lot of fun. All right, what are yours? Do you have any your 5-word reviews?
I said the house that Freddy built, because that is what New Line Cinema is. Because they you know, optioned their underwear, everything to get this movie made, and it was such a huge gamble, and it paid off. Because they were just a teeny tiny company. If this thing was not a success, they were going to be done. They were done.
Interesting.
So because what you were saying before about the ending, they're like, we don't care about, you know, wrapping this up in a tight little bowl. We want sequels. We want to turn this into a franchise. This is going to be our cash cow. So that's why that ending is the way it is, to leave it open for sequels. But this movie alone saved a movie studio, and later we got Lord of the Rings, so it kind of paid off.
It's funny. Someone on Twitter not that long ago posted the New Line Cinema logo and said, "What movie makes you think of what movie comes to mind?" And for me, it's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yep.
But it's
a good one.
But it's the second one. Because I don't think the first one was New Line.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure because up until Pulp Fiction, because Pulp Fiction is technically an independent film that was financed primarily by, what's his face with the feet? Tarantino. Thank you.
With the feet.
I had Scorsese stuck in my head. I knew that wasn't right. But up until that movie, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was the highest grossing independent film of all time.
Jesus.
It was an indie film. And I also like to remind people that it was also partially filmed in North Carolina. Whenever I can find a North Carolina connection, I'm going to go for it.
I'm the same way with Iowa.
Sure. Yeah. Well, you know, yeah, why not? So, okay. So my 5-word is over the top horror fun. Sorry, over the top fun horror. Messed up my own 5-word. And 80s horror tropes while sleeping.
Okay.
Yeah. Not nearly as clever as yours, but your two. But that's fine. But my God, the tropes in this movie. So the trope that drives me crazy, and it feels like every 80s movie did this that had a child in it. And by child, I mean anyone under the age of 18. Is if there's a kid in the movie, the adults aren't listening.
Yeah.
Because that's how you feel when you're a teenager.
They just don't listen. It feels like that's changed as movies have gotten older and, you know, like newer, you know, now, like it feels like the little kid shows up and the adult goes, ooh, you must know something. Tell me you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is a different film if they treat the girl like they would treat her in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a different film. Yeah. Oh my goodness. All right. Some of the notes I'm going to run down here real quick, jump in anytime, but wait, what? Sorry. I can't even read my own text. And this is I didn't write this. It's like message.
Did you have someone scribe this for you?
No. So one of the things I did mention earlier was this. I said, obviously I don't know these movies, but I thought he can only kill you in your dream. And so that's what brings me to like the dude, what he hanged. That's not a sentence, but you know what I mean? The guy he hangs in the jail cell, like he was awake for part of that. And he didn't kill him in the dream. He killed him in the real world with a noose. So is that pretty consistent with the rest of the franchise?
Yeah, they play around a lot with Freddy's powers and what he's able to do, and they get crazier and crazier as the franchise goes on. And in this one, they kind of spell it out a little, but they don't go into too much detail. I think they just kind of want to leave things up to your own imagination. And he's essentially the boogeyman, and the boogeyman can do whatever he wants. And that's what makes it scarier.
Okay. That's cool. That I will say this. In 1984 sensibilities, I can see why this movie would be genuinely scary, because it's like you just said, like, oh, he can if he can kill you in your sleep, then you aren't safe anywhere.
No, because everybody's got to sleep.
Right. And so there is, and I think honestly that's one of the reasons why I stayed away from this movie for so long, is because like Michael Myers is scary, but it's like, okay, just lock a door. Yeah. You know, just you could get away.
Catch a plane and get the hell out of town.
Right. Yeah. Just get in a car and drive 30 miles an hour. You'll be fine. But because he never runs, he just walks slowly. And
he does drive, though. He's one of the few killers that drives a car.
That is true. He does know how to drive a car somehow. He's been in an institution his entire life, but learned how to drive a car. And he also has the biggest plot armor in the history of film. I mean,
he's indestructible.
It's kind of insane how many bullets the man's taken and is fine. He just rubs some dirt on it, you know.
And that's the great thing about Freddy too. He'll cut his own fingers off. He don't care.
Yeah. That was so. I also it was an interesting choice when he cuts his fingers off. He goes, "Hey, look what I can do!" And he cuts his finger off, and it squirts green.
Yeah.
Because
he's and then the scene rotted and maggoty inside.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
And
I was going to say the scene where he cuts himself open, like his chest open, and it's like green pus and stuff.
Yeah.
And especially in this first one, because he gets a lot more vocal in the subsequent sequels, but especially in this one, the way he talks to them and the voice he uses and the little, like he's dancing around and doing all these crazy movements, and the tone of his voice is like he's talking to small children and like he's interacting with small children. And I think that's a really cool thing, because he's a child killer, and it just makes it even creepier.
Yeah, well, yes, I totally agree. Okay, let's see. I did. So we have to mention this. This movie introduces Robert Downey Jr., Johnny Depp. I don't know where I got that from. This introduces Johnny Depp, and I have to ask the question. So this movie has 4 kids and basically 3 adults, basically.
Essentially.
Yeah, right. You've got the 2 best friend girls. The one of them is hardly alive on screen much. So you've got Nancy and then Tina. And again, Tina dies pretty early and I felt like her death was kind of the worst. I feel like she was.
Yeah.
That death is one of the most iconic horror deaths.
Yeah. And also, I'll admit, when I found out that she was 15, I was kind of like, oh, wow, okay. One very sexually active 15-year-old, but I guess, it's the 80s.
Hey, it was the 80s.
Yeah. And, but yeah, I mean, she goes rough. So you got her, and then you've got Johnny Depp as Glenn, Nancy, Heather Langenkamp as Nancy, who was really good in this. I thought she acted.
She is really good.
I thought she was really good. And Rod, who is he? Rod, the last guy, the other kid,
the bad boy.
Yeah,
Lance.
Oh, was that his?
That was Glenn's last.
Yeah, I think it's Zoo Garcia. Is that his name? As Rod Lane. I don't know. His IMDb picture doesn't help me at all, so I'm not really sure.
Yeah, that's who it is. I'm pretty sure.
I have a connection to this movie. This is cool. I'm gonna name drop here in just a minute. Anyway, so you've got the 4 kids, and then basically her parents, and then Freddie. I mean, those are really the only adults in the movie, because I think we meet Tina's parents for about 5 seconds, and all we know from them is her mom is, I guess, banging that guy. And
yeah, that's something that's great about this film is, yes, the adults are, don't listen to the kids at all, that kind of thing. But there's this like neighborhood trauma that's affecting everything, because they all went and killed this guy together and swept it under the rug. And now the sins of the parents are coming back to be exacted on their children. And so there's broken homes. Nancy's mom is a full-blown alcoholic by the end.
Right.
Her and her husband, who's played by John Saxon, another horror legend, he's never there. You never see him in the house until the end. He's just never there.
Yeah.
And then you've got Tina's parents, mother, who is a mess. So the adults are completely dysfunctional in this movie because of what's going on.
Yeah, and you don't really put that together on first watch. Like the idea that, I mean, her mother talks about how the parents got together and did this, but I didn't really take into account that these are the parents of her friends. Like,
yeah,
everyone knows about this, which that scene, like, it explains why her mother is a drunk, but to keep that from the kids, when someone says, I had a dream about a man in a red and green sweater and he had knives for fingers and a hat. Like, if I knew someone that had previously died and my child had no way of knowing this person in real life, then I would have thought, okay, I need to figure out something's going on here. But she just kind of, they all, I guess, just kind of shoved it under the rug. And until it kind of broke with Nancy's mom.
Yeah, she I think is the most understanding of the parents, which isn't saying much, because she's just drowning herself in vodka the whole time. And she finally tells Nancy what's up, but like her dad is in full blown denial. Like, she just needs to sleep, get her out of here. Because the mom tries to get her some help at least.
Right.
Yeah. I'm going to be mean for a second, but she's also like the worst actress in this movie.
She's not great. It's
kind of bad. I do.
Yeah.
It's a little soap opera-y.
Yeah. It really is, but that's okay. But I just love the fact that like she is such an alcoholic that when the daughter drops that whole bottle of vodka, the next scene she's got another bottle of the exact same.
Yeah, she hit it in the towels.
Yeah,
it's like 4 or 5 bottles.
Yeah, it was just it just cracked me up because like all I could think about is on the film set they're like, hey guys, we only have this one bottle, so we have to make sure that we film this scene last,
right?
Because this is it. We get one chance to drop it, so we better make sure. The
vodka budget is very tiny.
Yeah, make sure that no one like their foot is in the shot or weird shadows or something. Like we get one shot. Okay, so I just mentioned this. So I have a connection to this movie. So I'm on the IMDb page and I'm kind of scrolling, looking at the cast. Again, it's a small cast, right? Which we just mentioned. Obviously, Robert Englund, as Freddy Krueger, who is really good in this. as Freddy Krueger. I mean, all he has to do is play a psycho, which is a lot of fun. But if you scroll down a little bit, you get into a section where there's not a whole lot of people that have IMDb photos. And then you get to David Andrews, who plays a character called Foreman. I don't know if he's like a foreman. It just says Foreman. I don't know who that is. Anyway, I've met him. So
Yeah.
I did.
Did you run into him?
Well, sort of. He was on. So
You bump into him?
yeah. So Lindsay, I worked in TV and film for a short while. Once upon a time, different career. I was in the film biz, and he was on an episode of the TV show we were filming down in Charleston. And at the time, he was on the TV show Jag. If you remember that show. And, and that show had just wrapped 5 months earlier before being on our show, the show that I was on. And so we got done shooting, and I walked up to him and I said, "Hey, Mr. Andrews, I was the boom operator at that point. I said, I know we're not supposed to ask you stuff about your whatever, but can I just ask, what happened with Jag? Because, Jag was going for, 8 or 9, 10 seasons, right? Then they spin off NCIS. And then the head of Jag, the actual character that's like the main boss, the captain, the general, judge, advocate general, the actual general, that character retires. And the actor, I think, also left the show. So they bring on David Andrews to play that new character for the last season. And so there's a scene in that last season where he is divvying out orders for the cast. Well, he told me, he said, that scene, I said, yeah. He goes, they were not given scripts because they did not realize the show was ending. The main character, the main actor had not re-signed his contract. He wanted to go do something else. And he didn't tell anyone else. So in that scene, all of the looks of surprise and shock are genuine because they are realizing they're out of a job. The show is ending.
God, that's so crappy to do to somebody.
Right?
Wow.
He's like, that's like those actions. So like Catherine Bell was on that show along with the main actor and then one of the guys. And so they're having these looks like they didn't break character. Like no one stares at the camera, but so he said, yeah, we filmed those genuine reactions. I said, man, that's crazy. He said, I was the only one, because if you think about the scene, I'm the only one with lines. It's like, oh my gosh, you're right. So anyway, I got to meet him. He was a very, very nice man. Okay. I
saw Heather Langenkamp. I didn't get to meet her. I saw she had a big line at a horror convention, and I had to leave. So I was like, next time she's at one, I'll catch her.
Sure. She still works. I mean, she still does stuff.
She's done 2 other Nightmare on Elm Street films as well.
Oh my gosh, she was in a Star Trek movie. She's our Star Trek connection, Andrew.
Nice.
That's great. Oh, and she was also on an episode of Jag. That's funny. Yeah, she was in Star Trek Into Darkness as Moto. Don't know who that is, but she was in Into Darkness. All right. Hey, I'm liking this. There's a lot of... I honestly didn't expect to find a Star Trek connection in this movie. So that's really cool. Well, I'm very happy. All right. Last couple of things. Oh, modern teen listening to a record player while watching TV on his bed. I thought that was really funny. And
it was funny to me because my oldest son, who is in 7th grade, will be playing a video game while watching something like a TV show on his iPad. And I'm like, how do you focus on
that separate? Yeah. It was funny because I like that scene because of Johnny Depp's line. He's like, yeah, Miss Nude America is coming on in an hour. And she's like, well, how are you going to hear what she says? He's like, who cares what she says?
Yeah. Which did people in the 80s have that kind of relationship with their parents that they would say that out loud like that?
This kid did.
I mean, Miss Nude America is coming on, and she's just like, okay, like.
Well, I kind of took that as he was being sarcastic.
Probably.
Oh, okay.
And it's Johnny Depp.
Right.
Well, that's true. I just even that just. I mean, again, I was such a goody two shoes kid. Like I couldn't even fathom that joke. Like, oh, what are you doing? Like even in like Spider-Man, when the principal walks in on Ned when he's trying to help Spider-Man out, and she's like, "What are you doing in here?" He's like, "Watching porn." Like, like I couldn't even make that joke. But again, I'm such a whatever. All right. Robert Englund has done. Am I saying that right? England? Yeah. Mm-hmm. He has done a bunch of stuff. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. No, he is horror royalty. He started out on V, the series V.
Yeah.
He had just finished that when he was approached to take this role. And originally they were going to cast an older male, like a 50 or 60-year-old, because they're like, Wes Craven was like, we want him to have like an older sensibility to it. But then he met with Robert Englund, and he's like, well, once you get the makeup on, you can't tell how old he is. So it makes no sense to cast an older actor. And that Englund was able to bring, he was relishing being a bad guy.
Yeah. I mean, even before he'd done 35 credits before he even got to V. Mm-hmm. Or I mean, I'm guessing. I don't know. He did V, the TV miniseries, and then V, the Final Battle miniseries, and then the Nightmare, and then V, the series, the TV series, and then he would just go on from there to do also Nightmare 2, and then MacGyver, and then Nightmare 3, and just Chud 2. And he did a bunch of the other Freddy's. Gosh, he's done a bunch of them. I guess all of them, right? Except for the newest one.
Freddy and except for two of them.
Yeah.
There's New Nightmare. I don't think he was Freddy in that one. He played himself, but I can't remember if he played Freddy or if they had another actor do it.
That's cool. Well, that's really, yeah. I mean, the guy, like you said, he's kind of horror royalty. I mean, he's also doing a bunch of other just bad stuff, like
the Mangler,
Lake Placid versus Anaconda. Like, what the hell is that?
Oh yeah, and he's a great person to have in a movie like that, to just be some crazed character.
Yeah,
because he never plays just a regular dude.
He was in a TV
he
series.
Plays creepy very well.
He's in a TV series called Stranger Things.
You guys have you guys seen Stranger Things?
Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Boy, I'm going to look like an idiot. I thought I know the show Stranger Things. I do that, but for some reason when my brain was reading it, it sounded like it was like
something different
than the Stranger Things. Yes, he's in Stranger Things as Victor Creel. Yes, I know what Stranger Things is. My God.
And because now that you've seen A Nightmare on Elm Street this season, you can see a lot of the influence.
I'll give you one guess. Do you think I've watched Stranger Things?
Oh, you haven't seen it?
I've watched the first 2 episodes.
Okay.
Like of the series, or
of the series.
Season?
No, of the series.
Oh my God! What are you doing with your life?
Watching other things like movies for the podcast.
The rest of season 4 drops this Friday.
Yeah, I know. I heard it's great. I just haven't watched it. I know I can hear people yelling in their phones right now.
Yeah. To me, season 4 is probably, after the first season, probably the best one.
It's a lot of fun, and a lot of people
so far
dog the series because of why are they doing this or why are they doing that. I just like the world it exists in and watching these characters, because they do such a good job of. It looks like the 80s, because the 80s isn't all neon and tubular. No, the 80s were brown with bad perms and ugly clothes.
Yeah, now you're not wrong.
And they do it well on the show.
They do it very well.
Okay. I'm basically out of notes at this point. Oh, I guess what I was actually trying to start off by about 7 or 8 minutes ago was that I was talking about the characters, is that obviously the bad boy dude, he kind of sucks, right? Like we don't really care that he gets hanged. But like Johnny Depp's character kind of sucks also.
Well, they're not the focus of the story. They're just mechanisms to further the plot along.
But like, I feel like, I don't know, it feels like in other movies where you have, the final girl, right? Like this movie is a final girl movie in which the other characters are there to, I guess, support her. It just feels like in other movies that we've seen, like the boyfriend is usually better than this. Like it just feels like Johnny Depp is just there to be a disappointment for all guys, he
falls asleep. He just doesn't care.
Yeah. He kind of sucks. And I feel bad for Nancy because you need to get another boyfriend. That's all I'm saying. All right.
No, I would agree with that.
Okay. Any other things before we play some clips?
I would say that this was the first big hit for Wes Craven because he'd done Last House on the Left, he'd done The Hills Have Eyes, and this was his first big blockbuster that brought him into mainstream horror releases. And if you look at, have either of you seen Scream, the original Scream?
Oh yeah.
Yes, I actually have. Okay.
There's so many parallels between that movie and this movie with certain things, certain relationship dynamics, like Billy's crawling through her window. We get the crazy kill at the beginning, the weird phone calls, the voice, and the boyfriend gets arrested. They think he's the killer, but he's not, but he actually is. Spoilers for a 25-year-old movie.
Right.
But there's a lot of parallels there. And another thing that Craven did in this movie that he did a lot in his earlier films was he loved booby traps for some reason. Because we get the whole Home Alone sequence, and he did that at the end of Last House on the Left. They set up all these crazy little booby traps for the bad guys, and he does it in some of his other movies. I think the Scream movie was when he finally abandoned putting those booby traps in there.
I mean, I was impressed with her craftsmanship, making that flash, that light bulb bomb that she made. I was impressed.
Oh yeah. It was effective.
Yeah. Good on her for paying attention in science class. Actually, my last note, I have one last note. So the mom comes in and takes out the coffee maker. And then she pulls out another coffee maker and sets it on the thing. So I have two problems with this. One, coffee is a strong smell. Now, maybe mom is so drunk she can't smell coffee, but we would smell coffee. But then again, maybe she's just got so much coffee in her room she wouldn't smell it.
That's true.
I don't know. But just the fact that
whole hidden Mr. Coffee next to the bed.
Like
and it wasn't like it was under the bed. It was just on the floor, really.
Yeah, essentially.
Did she go to Radio Shack or where would you buy a coffee? Kmart in 84?
Probably Kmart, yeah.
Did she just go there on her own
Sears.
to buy a second coffee pot to have as a backup? I mean, there's not, because you don't have two in your house.
No. And that goes back to the inspiration. What inspired Wes Craven to write this story was those newspaper articles he read about people. I think it was Southeast Asia, where young men were dying in their sleep. And one of them, his father was a doctor, and he tried giving him sleeping pills, but the kid still wasn't sleeping. And then they finally he slept like on the fourth or fifth day, and he died in his sleep. And they found all the sleeping pills like tucked underneath his mattress, so he hadn't been taking them. And they found a coffee pot hidden like in a cupboard in his room. So he was secretly drinking coffee, throwing away the sleeping pills.
Interesting.
Wow.
Oh, okay. All right. We ready for some clips?
Yes.
Good.
Let's do it.
Because I am. All right. Here we go. Here's the punk kid saying things that no one in the 80s ever said.
I had a hard-on this morning when I woke up, Tina. Had your name written all over it.
There's 4 letters in my name, Rod. How could there be room on your joint for 4 letters?
Hey, up yours with a twirling lawnmower.
No one ever said that in the history of existence.
Up yours with a twirling lawnmower?
No.
Or your What did she call it? Your
junk,
joint?
Your joint. Yeah. No one says that
I don't think
either.
I've ever heard it referred to as a joint.
No, either.
I also noticed that when he did he did the up yours hand signal wrong.
He did?
Instead of using like your left arm to hit your elbow to thrust your right fist up into the air, it's almost like a Hitler salute, but it's a fist.
He's like,
he just points and he's like, up yours. I'm like, that's not right. Were you not a kid? I mean, I know like usually they're a little older when they do this, but I don't think you know how to be a child. All right. Get a little bit of exposition via the news.
Police say the victim, 15-year-old Christina Gray, had quarreled earlier with her boyfriend, Rod Lane. Lane is now the subject of a citywide manhunt.
Rod Lane. Okay, so I got that guy's name wrong. Yeah, I just when the news guy said that she was 15. Yeah, Rod Lane. Yeah, Zoo Garcia is his name. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, she's 15. Wow. Okay, that's crazy. But anyway, and this is also an actor who's still working. He's doing a bunch of stuff. Oh, he's doing Hallmark movies now. He did something called All I Want for Christmas TV movie. This has to be a Hallmark movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this looks
Is it two people like on the cover in front of like a snowy park? Wearing scarves.
So he did This Is Christmas, where it is. No, this one is just a picture of two people almost kissing by a Christmas tree. With not a single actor I've ever heard of. But you know what? Hey, you're still acting. You got to do your thing, right? Just do your thing. Good on you. I'm just trying to scroll down here. Ooh, to see if he's in a. He was in We Were Soldiers. He was Captain Tony Nadal. I know who that guy is. We like that movie. I love that movie. We Were Soldiers. It's really.
It is a good movie.
Yeah. Go back and find it. We did it a few years ago. He was in Predator 2. Yeah. So. Guy's still working. Good on him.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
He just says weird things. Okay. The teacher cracked me up here with this.
You'll need a hall pass.
She's like, I don't know what to do.
I'm not equipped for this, but you need a hall pass. Okay. Here's some bad acting.
You better keep her home for a few days until she really gets over the shock of this.
I've got something better. I'm going to get her some help.
This is so dramatic.
I'm just going to get her some help. Ugh, that's bad. I'm sorry. It's bad. This annoyed me. I don't know why. I guess because, I don't know. I haven't done any research on this if like we know what dreams actually are, but for some reason this just annoyed me.
What the hell are dreams anyway?
Mysteries, incredible body hocus pocus. The truth is, we still don't know what they are or where they come from.
Like it makes it sound like it's
hocus pocus.
Yeah, it's like it makes it sound like it's magic.
It is in this universe.
Is it? I thought we know what dreams where they come from. Am I wrong? Like I thought we know that now.
I think
I know where wet dreams come from.
Oh. Well, that's fair.
I think they essentially know like what parts of the brain are active or working when we're dreaming, things like that. But as far as like the reasons we dream, what we dream, I don't know. There's some science behind it.
The explanation that I was given once was that we have short-term memory and then we have long-term memory. And as we sleep, our brain is defragging our hard drive basically and saying, this is the information we need to keep. This is the information we don't need to keep. Like the little minions in in Inside Out, right? They're determining what gets to stay in long term and what doesn't. So the information that's going from short term to long term, it physically grows past the part of your brain that it creates imagination. It's your imagination center.
Oh yeah.
And so as it's traveling, that's what kicks in some of your dreams. So that's why if you watch a scary movie, sometimes you'll have a dream about the scary movie. Or if you're thinking about work a lot, then you'll dream about work, things like that. So it's obviously not an exact science because it's not, there are times when I'll have a dream about nothing at all that's related to anything.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, why did I dream about building a lawnmower with my ex-girlfriend? Like I didn't, but like,
did you take some Ambien or something?
yeah, actually the dreams that really are the fun ones for me are like, if the kids let me sleep in, like if I wake up at 6:30 because I'm used to waking up then, and then I get to go back asleep for a couple hours. Those are the dreams.
That's when the fun starts.
Yeah, it really does. Like that's when I get to control shit. So, this also just made me laugh.
I got him! He's Daddy! I got him trapped! Help! Where are you?
Everything's gonna be all right. Everything's under control.
Get my dad, you asshole!
He's like, maybe I should tell the lieutenant.
Oh, you mean this part here?
Maybe I better go tell the lieutenant.
Maybe sure.
I like it. Let me know if anything funny goes on over at my house. There's a kid screaming over there.
There's smoke coming out of the window.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Worst cop ever.
He does suck. Again, I know it's the 80s and whatever, but like that part has not aged well because it's like there's a woman screaming and he's like, "Oh, it's fine, you hysterical woman." Like he did the verbal version of just like slapping her, telling her to calm down.
Essentially.
It just cracked me up.
Well, because a lot of the adults just think Nancy's crazy.
Yeah.
So like, oh, she's just nuts.
Which
she's
is
freaking
again,
out.
That goes back to the whole idea of they know that.
Oh yeah.
There's been some history here, and I don't know how you can ignore that, but
especially the fact that the husband is a cop, right? Like,
yeah,
he knows that his wife murdered this man, and
I think that's why he's so dismissive of it and is estranged from the family.
Yeah,
because like I said, you never see them in the home together until the end.
Yeah. All right,
Marge. That's his greeting to her.
All right. Well, that's that time. The clips are done, and now we are going to play a game. Which this week our game is sponsored by.
That's Serena over there, and that's Naomi, and we are the hosts of Weird Mythic Podcast. Yes, we are. Our show, Weird Mythic, covers stories about cryptids, which is what brought us together to create the show. But we also like to talk about anything paranormal and strange that happens in the world. We post episodes every Sunday on different topics, and we would love to have more listeners. We are on all podcast platforms, and you can find us on all social media sites as well. Give us a listen, send us some personal stories to share on the show, and we will love you forever. Yes, we will. We would love some personal stories, some cryptid encounters, and we hope that you listen and tune into the show. You can listen to Weird Mythic Podcasts wherever you get your podcast fix.
All right, time for this.
And now for some more bad news. Ready?
This is the game that we have invented called Hey, Did You Notice? Andrew will ask us 5 questions. We'll go back and forth, starting with you, Lindsay. And this is not a typical trivia game. No, this is how well did you know and pay attention to the movie? Now, you obviously have a distinct advantage of having seen this movie probably more than 5 times, I would think.
Oh, yeah.
And I've seen it once.
It had been a while since I revisited the first one, though.
All right, Andrew, take it away.
All right. So the first question goes to Lindsay. And if you get this wrong, then Shawn has a chance to steal. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Rod would never have been accused of murdering Tina, possibly, if Tina's mother hadn't decided to take a trip to where and for how long?
Isn't it like Reno for 4 days?
That's incorrect. Shawn, do you have an answer?
I don't remember. Vegas for 3 days.
I'm going to give you half a point because it is Las Vegas.
Okay.
But it was for 2 days.
Oh, okay. I'll take that half a point.
She said, my mom's gone for 2 days. And then later on, she says, my mom's in Vegas. So, banging that guy.
Nice.
So, half a point for Shawn. All right. So this goes to you, Shawn. And Here we go. A crucifix hung above Tina's bed. What two animals decorated the wall above Tina's parents' bed?
Oh, jeez. This is the 80s, right? So a tiger and a leopard.
No, Carol Baskin. All right, let's go to Lindsay.
A bear and a rabbit.
It was two peacocks.
Oh my God. Yeah, I don't remember that.
All right, no points awarded there. Lindsay, we go back to you. Nancy has a poster of what popular band from the 70s and 80s on her wall?
Oh, shit. Oh, crap. Is it Heart? Oh, that's not right.
It's not Heart. Shawn?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. CCR.
No. It is the Police.
Okay.
Sting and the Police.
Nice.
All right.
And her dad's a cop. That's
Shawn, this goes to you. What are the call letters for the television station Glenn is watching before his death?
WKRB in Cincinnati.
No. Lindsay?
KLT?
Not correct. This one's kind of cool. This is KRGR, which is Kruger without vowels.
Oh,
I remember it started with a K, but
And I did read somewhere that that is the station that's used in every Nightmare on Elm Street movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. So, that actually is pretty cool. I like it.
All right. Yeah, it is cool. Shawn, this goes to you, right?
Sure.
No, this goes to Lindsay. Sorry.
Yeah.
What movie is Nancy watching in an attempt to stay awake?
Oh, shit. I know this one, but I can't remember the name of it. Isn't it? Oh, God. I can't remember.
And, well, Shawn, chance to steal.
Yeah, guess something, because I'm going to feel bad if I win on half a point. I don't know either. I don't know. The Fly. I don't know.
It's like Dracula Sisters or something. I don't remember.
It's The Evil Dead.
Oh my gosh, she's watching The Evil Dead?
Yeah, she was watching The Evil Dead.
I guess I didn't pay that close attention to it.
Oh my gosh. Is it shown on screen or do you just hear her say it?
No, you see it.
No,
but
it's shown.
in black and white, isn't it?
Oh, how did I miss that? Oh man, that's usually something that'd be all over. I might have been taking a note or something. Gosh dang it.
Yeah.
Evil Dead.
All right. Was that 5 questions?
I think so. Did I just win on half a point? I feel bad.
Half a point.
You won on half a point.
Oh, that's lame.
Yeah, I did have about 7 or 8 questions on this, but I kind of took some away. I just want to talk about some real quick.
Okay.
Because you mentioned how much her mother drank, and one of my questions was, what is her drink of choice? And it's funny that you both said vodka, because and I had to pause the film to actually get this, but it's gin.
Is it gin?
On the bottle? Yeah, on the bottle it says gin. And then a payphone, I won't ask this in a question, but a payphone was on the wall in the basement of the school, which I thought was really weird. So I was going to ask what weird item was hanging on the wall, but that was kind of obscure, so I left that one out. But I thought it was kind of funny that in the basement of a high school, in the boiler room, there's a payphone.
Payphone.
Yeah.
That is weird.
So there we go.
All right. Well, I won with half a point. So there you go. Lindsay will still get stickers from me, however. So that's fine. Time for this.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Our top 3 this week is movies that have dreams in them. So the character dreams in the movie. Any kind of dream, good dream, bad dream, whatever kind of dream. We're just kind of keeping it pretty generic to make the list, I think, a little bit easier. Lindsay, what you got?
Do you want me to say all 3 or just one of them?
All 3. Go ahead and go for it.
Okay. I've got Pee-wee's Big Adventure, because he's got that nightmare in the hospital. Because he's got a couple dreams in that one. But I like the nightmare in the hospital where with the clowns and they're running with the big shoes and they lower his bike into the boiling pot, all that stuff. And then the second one is National Lampoon's European Vacation, where they all have their little fantasy dreams on the plane as they're flying over, and they're all very, very different.
Yep.
And then the third one is from The Princess Bride, when Buttercup has that dream where the old lady with the mole on her face is shouting, "Boo! Boo!"
Nice. That's a good one. Those are great.
Yeah.
Oh, I was hoping I could find it real quick, but I guess I can't. That's a bummer. When I typed in "boo" in my library, Book of Eli came up first. So that's a shame.
Yeah.
Let's see. So my turn, right? I can't believe I don't have that handy. Oh, there it is.
Boo! Boo!
There we go. All right. It was worth the wait, I promise. My top three, I did Minority Report because it feels like he's constantly dreaming about his son, Shawn. Number two is an 80s movie called The Explorers, in which the alien sends information and designs for a spaceship through dreams. And that's a movie we should probably do for the podcast. I'm just saying. I think the world needs some more young Ethan Hawke and River Phoenix in their life. And my number one, I was so happy that this worked out, is Star Trek First Contact. That movie does the trope where you start the movie off and something bad happens, and then you find out that it's a dream, only to find out that the next layer is another dream.
Right.
Jeez.
Yeah, it does the double trope, the double dream trope there, and that is okay. Andrew.
All right, I have Happy Gilmore at number 3, where he is
dreaming of going to his happy place.
Yeah, his happy place. I have A Christmas Story.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. And then Fast Times at Ridgemont High. BBK. Yeah.
Okay.
Great dream.
For the first time, and couldn't tell you how long, we have 0 responses on Twitter.
Oh,
not one person has a movie that they can think of. Facebook, we did have Cameron. Good. Our good friend Cameron jumped on and said American Werewolf in London, The Burbs, and The Big Lebowski.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I almost said The Big Lebowski, but I figured somebody else might say it, so I didn't.
So thank you, Cameron, for that. I do appreciate it. Again, a perfect opportunity for people to participate on Twitter, and I will read it out loud and, get your name on my show, but such is life. That's fine. All right. Time for this.
Wait, what's supposed to happen?
This is where we give the movie a score from 0 to 10. 0 to 10. Obviously, 0 being, the worst thing we've ever seen, like Birdemic, and 10 being really good. All right. Andrew goes first here.
Well, IMDb has a 7.4, and I like that. But I'm going to, because of some age to it and some practical effects, I'm going to drop it by 2. I'm going to go 7.2.
All right.
Out of 10.
7.2. That's a pretty good score. What say you, Lindsay?
I'm going to give it an 8. Because, I have a lot of respect for this movie and just how little money and little time that they had to pull it off. I think this was shot in like 34 days was the production time on this. Wow. And they had 0 money and things went wrong. And there was fighting between Wes Craven and the producer over certain aspects of it. And just that everything came together with the right cast and the right script and the right director at the right time, that it was as successful as it was, because it made back its budget opening weekend.
Nice. Okay. I'm going to actually kick back real quick because literally I just got a Twitter notification. Shoot the Flick just chimed in saying, in no particular order, Nightmare on Elm Street, Total Recall, and Wizard of Oz.
Ah.
Yeah.
So thank you, Shoot the Flick, at Shoot the Flick on Twitter. Appreciate that. I will give this movie a 7.5 because I had a really good time with this. Oh, wait, why didn't that work? Uh-oh. My no one cares except the fact that my my Excel spreadsheet no longer works.
Oh no.
Oh no, I can't tell you what the score is because I can't math.
Well,
on my own.
Honestly, what happened is we never thought we would make it to 402 episodes, so we didn't drop the formula that far down.
I mean, all I do is just okay. That gives us a 7.56 repeating. There we go.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a good score. And I dragged the thing down. All right. Sorry, that was dumb. Lindsay, please tell my listeners where they can find more of you.
You can find me on YouTube. Just search my name, Lindsay Washburn, and it's Lindsay with an A. A lot of people spell Lindsay with an E, but mine's with an A. And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. I've always got something going on. And on the Bad Movie Night podcast as well. We are live every Tuesday this summer.
Awesome.
Cool.
Now I'm starting to make sure. Yeah, I had to make sure. Ooh, did the graphic did we make for this week? Did we spell your name right? But we did. So good job, Sam. Oh, well, that's awesome. Lindsay, thank you so much for coming on the show. This has been an absolute pleasure. I hope you had a good time because I know that I did.
I did. And it was fun to discuss this movie with two people who hadn't seen it yet. And there is so much more to talk about with this movie. But a lot of it has already been said because this movie is held up there as one of the greats of horror, and especially 80s horror, because it birthed so many icons and iconic tropes and things that a lot of people have tried to copy down the road, and sometimes a little more successfully, sometimes less successfully. And I highly encourage both of you to explore the sequels to this movie because they get pretty nutty.
Nice. I like nutty. Maybe I don't know. Maybe we'll just have you back on, and we'll just keep doing the Halloween.
Oh, definitely. We'll work our way through the series. That would be fun.
Yeah, we have a couple of guests that like we have accidentally pigeonholed them into certain things. Like Cameron, who commented on Facebook, he's our sword and sorcery guy. Like we've only had him on he did Willow, Fellowship of the Ring, and King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. So like he can only do those kinds of movies. So maybe you can be our Friday or Nightmare on Elm Street companion. I like this idea. We'll once every 6 months we have to make sure we watch a Nightmare film. I like it. That's Definitely. It. I like it. Go to our website, cheapseatreviews.libsyn.com. There you can find links to all of our other stuff, including our store. Go buy some merch. That'd be really cool. As well as leave us a review. That would be super awesome to leave us a review on either Spotify or iTunes. That really helps. In fact, I was supposed to have this ready and I forgot because I suck. And that is, we had somebody leave us a review recently, and I like to read those on air. So thank you so much to the awesome words. I have to scroll all the way down because when you have 400 episodes, you have to scroll down a lot on iTunes. Thank you so much to, we've got another one. Oh my gosh, we've got two reviews here. So from Pop Etymology, great way to revisit some of your favorite movies, chill yet well researched. Well, thank you.
Cool.
And then as of a couple of days ago, from not BAMF, not BAMF, okay, they said, great in-depth movie talk and fun conversations. A really good show for anyone who likes deep dives into your favorite movies. Well, that was just very nice. Thank you so much. And
Those are very nice reviews.
Yeah, and I didn't expect to have that second one there. That just made my night. Oh, my goodness. Thank you so much for that. So that's it. That's the show. Thank you all so much for listening. Again, support the show in any way you can by, sharing it and liking it and all that great stuff. Next week, is another we haven't seen movie, though this is a pretty new movie, so it's pretty understandable we haven't seen. We are watching, my spreadsheet just freaked out. What the heck just happened? Okay, here we go. We're watching Nightmare. Yeah, I'm having all kinds of issues. We're having Nightmare Alley. We're watching Nightmare Alley, that new film that came out, I think, last year, with the Carrie from the
Bradley
Dick
Cooper?
Tales podcast. Yeah, Bradley Cooper. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, not Bradley Cooper is not joining us for that. No.
Oh, I was
That'd
going
be
to say.
cool.
No,
That's a good get.
That would be a good get. No.
Dick Tales is good too.
Yes, Carrie is hilarious, and it'll be a lot of fun for that. So next week, Nightmare Alley. That's it. So on behalf of Lindsay and Andrew and Sam, who's again still on vacation, this is Shawn saying thank you all so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
This is Cheapseat Reviews.